Hello everyone, welcome back to Selene Apoptosis. Now, I'm going to try and do a little bit different. I'm going to try to be more focused on Selene, the cat. And so we're starting the game, so we got new dialogue. The forming of God. The construction of angels. Have you seen this before? Okay, let's go ahead and skip. His foot jerked and hit the board with a very noticeable pain. Let's see. Seemed like he even heard his toes crack. He muttered a short curse and rolled a chair away from the desk. Although he knew that his attention was not fixed on the blank text file, the tick should go away all by itself. It's funny how the consciousness is detached from the body. He often thought about it, especially while having insomnia. It's like you're working as a team, but your partner starts pulling something. You seem to have common goals, but when all hell breaks loose, you're suddenly left alone with it, and your partner's more interested in watching the fire than fighting it. In the end, you have no idea what's on his mind. Well, at least there won't be any more knocking. Good. Let's see if there's any more dialogue that's new. Let's see, let's check. Okay. He rolled back to the table and was about to write that thought down, but paused over the keyboard. He remembered the individual words and the general idea, but the sentence had already slipped away. This time the white lights filled the entire room. Then the thunder followed, resembling a low gut roar of something large and famished. Good Lord. He called to God way too often for someone who never goes to church. Just a habit he inherited from his mother. Actually, I think I'll reject Selene a little bit more than I did previously. So, right from the get-go, I'm going to refuse her to let her in. So we'll see what happens. A fierce patter of raindrops pounded on his window. There's no way it could work like this. Not now. But maybe it's for the best. Since he was a little boy, he slept well during the storms. Had to seize the moment. Let's see if there's anything. Okay. He tried to take off his shoes, change position, take a pillow, cover himself, throw the pillow away to the side of the room. Nothing helped. He just laid there with his eyes closed. And though his closed eyelids felt heavy, he knew it was an illusion. All in vain. He's not sleeping. He can't sleep. Okay, let's see if we got any more new context. Cat. Aside from the smoky gray head, it seemed as if she was dropped into a vat of white paint, while her lower part was dipped into a black one. Wet fur clung to her small, rather skinny body, dripping with water. Cat could have probably slipped into the house as soon as the door opened. Instead, she froze, as if waiting for the host to say something. Okay, I'm gonna refuse. This isn't his house. Maybe he pays for it, but it's not his house. And even if the house was his, would anything have changed? It's easier to put the blame on the landlady. The landlady would have a fit. And he would have to find a new hole to crawl in and forget about the deposit too. But was she the real problem? No. The problem was that he couldn't even take care of himself. Taking care of someone else is a much bigger task, even if it's just for one night. No. I'm sorry. I can't let you in. She must have just shaken her head to dry out, but he thought she nodded. I understand. When the door locked clicked, he felt a pang of guilt. Did he do the right thing? He had no answer. He should have put some bedding for her on the porch, he thought. A sudden wave of fatigue swept him off his feet. He somehow made it to the living room and collapsed on the couch. The body, too light and too heavy, fell through the upholstery fabric, the felt layer, the row of compressed springs, the wooden frame. He kept falling into the pitch blackness, until it closed over him like a smooth dome. He wasn't dreaming. Ooh, we're back to the notepad. He wasn't dreaming. Something changed. What changed? September 15th. The bus driver saw me. He didn't laugh at me and didn't get mad like Mom. He allowed me to play in the bus. I wish there were more people like him. Okay, they're both the same, so let's choose the one that was refused. Memories and dreams alike fade away. Okay. Oh, it won't let me choose that. Let's try it again. What does that say? Oh, that's just the button. Okay. Okay, guess we'll have to do the left one. It was cold outside. Much colder than one might think. Didn't feel angry anymore. Alright, come in. Okay, let's go check for a new text. What do? This time let's say doesn't matter. Never mind. This can wait. The cat's fur wasn't very long, but it was fluffy enough to hide her sunken sides. I was once again surprised at how skinny she was. He was even more surprised when he noticed a collar with a small locket. So you do have a home. In this case, you also have some shitty owners, I must say. The cat curled up on the wet towel in his lap, slowly dozing off. You could feel that familiar lulling vibe emerging inside her. Suddenly, put the towel with the cat on it away. I should get you some food. Let me see what I have. He got up. Just a tad bit difficulty. Nothing he couldn't handle. Still, his body felt unusually heavy and unwieldy. He had to give the cat something to eat. He'll lie down afterwards and then Hell, maybe he'll even fall asleep. Let's see, new text, check. Okay, got text, cat. Let's ask for some bitterness. Oh, okay. Don't mind me. That's kinda creepy. I'm here to collect the tomato soup. Alright, doesn't matter that much. I'm happy to have you back. After all, there is no point to this grudge from the start. Nobody gains anything by holding on to small grudges and staying blind to what they really feel. You wouldn't have won anything. It's not a damn lottery. The cat rubbed against his arm again. New text check. Let's see, doesn't matter. Selene. He wasn't sleeping, but his house was, and his lullaby was woven with the one single word. He had a suspicion concerning rats for a while already. At times something scratched inside the walls, and became sensitive to things when he could not sleep for a long time. Faced with these symptoms the last time, he took a flashlight and some stick and circled the house for a long time, tapping the walls here and there. He had no idea how to deal with the rats. At least, that's what he thought until he remembered how his mother used to handle this. After the team had vanished, poison became the weapon of choice when it came to deal with rats, the kind that should be kept away from small children and pets. Having remembered this, he went out to a hardware store and filled the cart with colorful packages. Then he thoroughly strewed the whole house with bright, deadly pellets that crunched under his feet when he went to get coffee. After a while, the sound stopped. Yet, he could hear them again now. Something was scratching him. It's been a long time, so no wonder. Those pets always come back. That's what his mother would say, and this time he agreed with her completely on the matter. He considered his options. And the poison left, and he could not go out for a restock. He was completely immersed in his work. Although he was now much closer to the end of the script than its beginning, there is still much to be done. Although he couldn't sleep, he still could work. It'd be stupid to lose pace just to go shopping. Besides, he now had a cat. He didn't really own her, of course. She came to see him, and he always made sure that she ate well. He had to take care of her about her safety. No, poison was not an option. Of course, he considered asking the cat to do the job, but every time she came, he thought it completely vanished from his mind. They had other things than rats to talk about. He told her a lot about his work, sometimes read what he wrote. The cat rarely gave any comments, but never refused to listen. He liked that about her. Not only that, of course. Take her scent, for example. She smelled of warm fur, dust, and something sweet. This may sound simple, but the smell made his heart ache with sadness and unbearable love. It was the smell of a warm June night in which Timo had vanished, and also many beloved cats before and after him. This cat, however, was special. He could feel it. Although he couldn't articulate, he couldn't find the right words. What a writer you are if you can't find the words. That's what he would say if he was talking to himself. But he never did such things. Even if he couldn't stop, he couldn't sleep for a long time. At least it can work, said the computer screen, flickering in the dark. But he couldn't. As at that very moment he heard the thing again. Something scratched, and this time the sound was different. He swung around and looked behind him, then swallowed hard, staring into the darkness. Suddenly his head cleared up. Something's coming, said the computer screen. Careful, said the flat white ceiling lamp. It should be downstairs, said the crumbled bed. Downstairs. The first floor was dark, veiled in slumber, just like the rest of the house. There's no point in turning on the lights if we're going to stay in the same room, typing all night, all morning and all day, and all the next night too. Unless, of course, the cat comes. And even if he had to go out, he knew the house perfectly well, even bonded with it. He needed no light to get anywhere he wanted. That's why he won't turn on the lights, so the one who scratches wouldn't know that he knows. He decided so as he went down the stairs silently. Downstairs was quiet. He listened to silence for a few minutes, but it sounded unconvincing. If something had started scratching, it won't go away that easy. He knew that for sure. Those past always come back. Yet they arm themselves somehow. With the bat, for example. Still haven't put the bat away, so it was lying somewhere in the dark living room, heavy and reliable. All I had to do was reach it before the one who scratches gets back to his work. As he passed the kitchen, a prickly shiver ran through him. As if someone was looking at him from the darkness of the room. Or was the room itself watching him? Either way, he knew better than to turn and peer into the dark maw of the entrance. If he does, if he dares, something will come out. Something he doesn't want to know that about. He found the bat under the dresser, and just in time, because the next moment he wouldn't have been able to move. Something was scratching in the walls, a new disgusting sound that had nothing to do with rats. Oh man, the music right now is really intense. To be more precise, this new sound could not have anything to do with any living being. Squeak, squeak, squeak. A painful spasm passed through his body. He crashed as someone had hit the gut. And then he did something stupid. Oh wait, I recognize this music. Ah, it's that music from SCP Containment Breach when the old man comes. Okay. Stop it! Please stop! I can't take it anymore. But the nightmares don't end just because you ask politely. Or because you really can't take it anymore. It felt like the voice didn't belong to him. Of course, the voice was his own, certainly would have never done something like that. You never talk to the one who scratches. Squeak, squeak, squeak. Ugh. He'd probably be bare if there was any visible traces left. But there are none. Only the screech here and there. As if something was trying its strength on the house, looking around for something. Looking for him. Regret speaking out loud many, many times. It would have been better if he died quietly right here. This would have solved so many problems. He was leaning against the back of the sofa and quietly whimpering when it went silent, as suddenly as it had begun. For a while, he continued sitting crooked like a giant fetus, hugging his knees in his bat, and only moved when he really believed that everything had calmed down. Ugh. At that very moment, the round metal handle on the back door began to shiver. He didn't immediately realize where the sound was coming from. Soft round metal, glass, but he had a clue. The transparent glass on the back door was closed by a thin, polka-dotted curtain, and it trembled in rhythm with the sounds. Then, the house got quiet again. Some force, the same one that beckons to a window on high floors, called out to look behind the polka-dotted curtain. He knew just one look would be enough to make him lose his mind, but the call was too hard to resist, and he hadn't slept for too long. Slowly, as if half asleep, he made his way to the door. He could see the pattern clearly now, so close it was. Small dots, each one quivering with a silent cry. Do not look. Do not look. Do not look. He yanked the curtain aside and stared into darkness with the eyes of a man facing his truck moving at full speed. Of course, there was no one at the door. After that, he decided to always keep the bat nearby. You never got over it, did you?
Is something wrong?
A cat was lying in his lap. It had been a long time since her last visit, much longer than he would have liked. I don't know. Something is happening to me, and it's not insomnia. As if I'm missing something. As if something is missing inside of me. I can't explain it well enough. Maybe you know what I mean. The cat was staring at nothing in silence. Something only cats can do right. Do you believe in ghosts?
Why would you ask?
I think I've run into something I can't quite explain. The cat was silent for a while.
Maybe. It is a matter of perspective.
What do you mean?
That which you've lost, those who you've lost. The number gets bigger over time. The struggle is not to become a ghost yourself. Before time, I mean.
Something tightened in his throat.
I didn't want to upset you. I really didn't.
I don't want to lose you. Is it possible? The cat looked at him for a long moment. Her pupils unusually large, looked as black as a moonless night.
Scratch my ear, alright? I'll sing you the best song.
I like all of your songs.
I know, but I'll sing the best one.
He ran his hand through the warm, thick fur that smelled of dust and something sweet. The cat was smiling at him, lying in his arms. He could feel, with all his being, the vibrations of another, very different world as they were lulling his body. Next time he heard the one who scratches right beneath his window. Oh, not the window. Beneath the open window on the second floor, to be precise. At that moment, he was struggling with the tough scene of the story's ending. Imagining things is quite common if you haven't slept for a while, and did a good job on burning out. You think you're hearing things, like as if someone is quietly slurping in the far corner of the room, just beyond where your eye can see. Or, for instance, as if it's scratching the wall and brick crumbs are getting stuck on its nails. And it's climbing higher and higher. He realized it could all be in his head, so he took his hands off the keyboard and listened carefully. Just in case. It could be that nothing was actually scratching. But his body already knew what was going on. It became cold and stiff, exactly like a house wall. Oh yeah, boy, you do hear it. Why, of course you hear it. Why would it be any different? After all, the one who scratches finally smelled you, and now it won't back off. Squeak, squeak, squeak. And that's when his nervous tick came in. Squeak, thud, squeak, thud. What a duo they were. He had to hold his breath to keep back the mixture of hysterical giggles and sobs trying to burst out of his chest. If they had escaped, this he knew, that would have been the end of him. And otherwise he still had a chance. A pretty solid one. And if he managed to suppress the tick, that is. When the text doesn't work out, just look away from the screen and wait a little. The tick will subside by itself. But what about the case when the one who scratches is creeping up the wall, higher and higher, and you can hear its nails? And it's got oh so many of them, leaving tiny, tiny grooves in the house cladding. They are very sharp, those nails. Oh God. Squeak, squeak, squeak. His mother always had fitting prayers ready for every occasion. This time, this wasn't a right moment to think of it. They forgot the T, and they put an S. As he had to try and do something. This time, even his mother would have been taken by surprise. She probably had to consult a neuropathology forum, as this case sure needs a professional's opinion. Something like, "Greetings. My boy hasn't been sleeping for a month or so, and It already started to get out of hand. He sits in the dark room all day writing his stupid scribbles. I don't know why he got into his head that he can write, because after all these years in business, he still has neither a name nor connections. You know what I mean. And besides, she was always fond of embarrassing him before he to the point. Besides, he gets an awful nervous tick when the one who scratches crawls up to his window and scratch a hole in his stomach. What prayer would you find appropriate for this occasion? He's not really going to hit this thing with a bat, is he? My baby boy won't hurt to fly. He has no guts for that. The first thing he did when the days had worn off was grabbing the bat. He pressed himself against the wall by the window, and that was all he could do. But nails were already scratching very close to the sill. Screech, screech, screech. I'm coming for you, you little whiny boy with no guts. I'm going to scratch a hole in your belly to see if I can find them. You don't want to see what was under the sill. You prefer to die than to look at it. Squeak. The nail struck the sill. He knew there were now black marks on it, and somehow shavings got under the nails. Maybe some of those nails got broken, but the one who scratches doesn't care. It's got oh so many of them. He stared straight ahead. His teeth were clenched and saliva bubbled at the corners of his parted mouth. He was weeping without a sound, choking on a silent scream. He wasn't really going to hit this thing with a bat, was he? Something began to climb over the sill. He tried not to look, yet he could still see it. What is that? Something akin to squishy fingers, or guts. Lots of nails that grew on top of each other like clamshells. In the moonlight he saw tufts of fur glistening in these finger guts. Just like a rat's tail. Then he realized two things. Firstly, he got an insight on Timu's gifts. Thing is, his old cat constantly brought him something. The prey. Those morbid little signs of unconditional love, as he thought back then. But now he figured it out. Things he had been secretly throwing out the window in the middle of the night weren't dead mice. Those were small fragments. Tiny pieces of the hideous fingers of the one who scratches. Look, master. This nightmare is vulnerable. I drove it away. I brought you a piece of its flesh, which means you can sleep safely tonight. That's what the cat thought when its owner ruffled Timu's knobby, scabbed head. Ugh. Getting spooky, are we? And secondly, he realized, with all the clarity, this was the thing that lures cats in the darkness of summer nights, from which they never return. The thing that took Timu away. And now his can has come for Selene. He stopped weeping, but was still breathing fast, too fast, drawing air through bare teeth. Inside he was boiling with rage. He wasn't really going to hit this thing with a bat, was he? He was. Damn right he was. He turned his head slowly and stared, eyes wide open, without blinking as the glistening flesh clambered over the sill. He was waiting. He felt sick, but decided he will throw up later. Right after he turns that thing into a bloody mess. I know you. You won't get her. You won't get anyone! The sounds that came out of his throat didn't resemble words, but that was exactly what he said. He charged at the thing, thrashed, crashed it. Smashed its fingers, guts, tails, or whatever this shit was. The bat seemed lighter than a feather. Ew. He had never been particularly strong, and all of his being became pure will. The bat as his point of application. Oh my. Bloody shreds kept bursting out and sprinkling around as he smashed, smashed, and smashed. He paid no heed to the nails that were trying to get him, tearing his clothes, tearing his skin. He didn't care. He didn't feel anything. Tomatoes! Anything but the desire to wipe this thing off the face of the earth and smash it out of reality if he had to. I don't know what that was. Looked like a pie. I'll just assume it's a pie. Finally, the corpse crumpled and distorted, slid out the window frame, collapsing down. It was over. The blood-soaked bat slipped out of his hand and rolled across the floor, leaving a long, black, red smear. He wouldn't have been able to lift it. He was barely standing on his feet, and drool mixed with blood ran down his face. He didn't want to look down, because he could feel the wet heat spraying out around his stomach. He knew where this was going. He stumbled to the bed and fell on his back. A hoarse, gurgling breath came out of his mouth. More than anything, he wanted the cat to come. Oh, it's another television. Happy dreamland. Everybody loves tomato soup. Wait, did we see it? Tomato soup is the devil's favorite food. It reminds me of home. Oh, no, I don't remember this. I don't remember Elijah. Elijah doesn't like tomato soup. Everybody loves tomato soup. Oh, Elijah's crying. Something changed. It's a TV program. What's the thing everybody loves? That's tomatoes. Yeah, okay. I got you. Let's see. Yep, that's the tomato soup. Okay. Got it. One of his eyes was badly damaged by the fall, but Mr. Bench was not too worried about it. He died a few hours ago. Before that happened, he threw up with something whitish. The pot was still foaming on his cheek. Something cheap strawberry yogurt because of some blood mixed in it. The police was informed about it. The corpse, not the fact that Mr. Bench couldn't hold his dinner and got his pants a little dirty, by Miss Cora, a neat old lady who lived nearby and for the last decade never woke up later than 5 in the morning. But the first one to notice the body was the cat. She looked like a purebred British Shorthair in all respects, except for the color. Aside from the smoky grey head, it seemed as if she was dropped into a vat of white paint, while her lower part was dipped in the black one. As she passed by Mr. Bench, she smelled the air from a few meters away, more cautious than interested. Under different circumstances, she might have actually been interested in him, but the cat already had a special someone. She soared upwards, stabbing her milky white claws into the bark of the tall tree. The fur above the muscles on her back stood on end. In a few leaps she reached the ledge and disappeared in the dark gate of the open window on the second floor. He could barely breathe at the time, but when the cat came back he felt better. Much better.
What have you done?
I was defending. I wanted to save you. I wanted to save us both.
You fool.
That's right. I just can't lose you.
It is too late.
He wanted to object, say something trivial like, it's never too late as long as they're both alive. But he could not. The cat clung to him with her entire body, sticking her lips to his. He suddenly realized she wasn't in fact skinny, more of a wiry and quite strong. The next moment he felt his flesh tearing apart, and tore easily as quite some time had already passed. Then everything finally fell into its place. Uh-oh. He had read about it in some magazine. Feral cats and many house ones. Their owners pass away aren't above eating human flesh, if they manage to reach it. Cats are very discerning, careful eaters. Having chosen the corpse, the cat remains faithful to it until it's stripped to the bone. Taking this into account, and also the number of empty sleeping pills and cans everywhere, good God, there are too many of them. There was but a single conclusion to make. He died. Quite some time ago. Turns out the pills failed him once again. The ceiling was swinging back and forth, swinging him like a caring mother swings a cradle. Gotta take a picture of that. That's when he finally noticed that it was the kitchen ceiling. He was not lying in bed, but on the floor. Some big sounds were coming from outside the room. It grew more and more persistent over time. If he knew about Miss Cora's peculiar discovery, he would have probably guessed that the police were already breaking down his door. The cat hurriedly stuffed her mouth, choking, swallowing pieces without even chewing them. He didn't mind. After all, a cat that has no home should eat well, shouldn't she? Although he got rid of the ones who scratched, the street is still full of dogs and evil people. Even his mother would agree, and his mother would never ever agree with him. And yet, he still had one question to ask. Say, did you love me? Even a little? For a moment the cat took a pause on her task and looked him in the eyes. Her body was shivering. A yellowish flap of flesh that occurred to be a piece of rotting fat was trembling in her long, sharp teeth.
I do.
He breathed in her scent for the last time. It smelled of fur, dust, something sweet. It smelled of carrion. April 24. Nobody came to my birthday party except for my friends. And Timo. Mom said I'll get real friends when I'm older. My friends are all real. But still, I'd love to have someone to hang out with. I'll just have to wait for a bit, I guess.
「とある雨の夜に見知らぬきれいな人が玄関先に現れた。君は